So now that we've gone through the basics with our whole layout, now let's go ahead and create a track map. So in order to do that, we're going to need to make some room for our track display. So I'm just going to grab this channel list and drag it down a little bit. And then I'm going to drag this trace over to the left. And then kind of move this to fit, make it just look a little bit nicer. And you can put this track map anywhere in here. You can even create a new tab if you want to, but I'm just going to put it up in the right hand corner. So now we're going to right click in this empty area and then click on Add View, and then go to Track. Now we're going to go ahead and expand it to its full size, make it look a little bit nicer. So you can see right here it says invalid log source. That just means that it hasn't been set up yet. It doesn't really know what data to look at. So we're going to go ahead and click on the configure icon, which is that little wrench up to the top right. And then we're going to go up to the top left and click on edit, which will help us edit the track configuration. When I click on edit, you can see that it's already created a track map for me just right here. But if you're not seeing this, then go ahead and go onto the left side over here where all these channels are. In this case, we're going to use GPS to set up this track. You can use yaw and our G right up there, but right now we'll use GPS. It tends to just be a bit more accurate. We're going to want to make sure that these channels are set up properly. Right now the software has already done it for us. But if you're not seeing these channels here, you're going to want to go ahead and click on this button right here, and you'll have to individually pick them. But as you can see, our latitude channel should be set to GPS latitude. Our longitude channel should be set up to GPS longitude. And then our GPS valid channel just set to GPS valid. So that's pretty straightforward. And so it's really important to log these channels, because if you do not log these channels, then you cannot create the track map. Now that we have our track map right here, it looks about correct. But the line's pretty thick, so we can take this line width down here and drop that down just a little bit. Makes it just a little bit easier to see the shape and the outline of the track. And I'm noticing here that not only has it grabbed the track, but it's grabbed the pit road here and the paddock area here. So this is the entirety of the log, so when the car was driving around on the track and when it was brought to the pits, and all the way from when it was driven into the hot pits back into the track. So it caught everything. But for our track map, we're only going to really want the actual track, so I'll show you how to fix that in just a second. Again, at this point the software does not know where our start and finish line is, so it hasn't created any lap times for us or anything like that. It's just created our track, but so far that looks pretty good. Now we're going to go ahead and name the track. So in our case it was Button Willow, clockwise number 1. So then we'll click OK. Now we see our track map here on the right, and then we'll go ahead and click OK again. Now what we need to do is set our start and finish line so we can create lap times. So you can see that when I click on any part of this data log and I drag through it, not only are we seeing our data channels update like you'd expect, but you also see this little icon on the track over here move, which basically shows us the vehicle position on the track. So remember how before I mentioned that this was most likely on a straightaway? Well, you can see here that it was a little bit on a straightaway, a little bit of a kink in the middle here. But what we want to do now is find the start and finish line here. So we'll go ahead and zoom out a little bit. And I know the start and finish line is right about here on the track. If you don't know where your start and finish line is, you're going to want to go ahead and find a track map. You can usually find those online. In fact, I have one right here. So right here you can see the track map of Button Willow. It's not rotated correctly, but I think you'll see the point. It's the same track, so you can see that the start and finish line start at the same place as we saw on the track map, just slightly past the middle point. So we're going to use that as our reference for our start and finish line. So let's drag the cursor right over here and bring it to about this point right here. This point right here is going to be our start and finish line, as you can see on the map. If you want to zoom in, you can just get a little bit more accurate. Once we found our start and finish line right on the dot, then we're going to need to right click right on our line. And then you're going to go to GPS lap beacon, and then go to add beacon at cursor lap. You can even go so far as splitting up turns and then naming those turns if you want to. So that will allow you to see your various turns and direction changes, all the lap times that you need. So go ahead and click add beacon at cursor lap. You can see it's made a little bit of a green line there with the checkered flag indicator. So that's telling us that this is our start and finish line. And then you're going to want to confirm that your longitude and latitude channels here are correct. And next we're going to need to configure these two options right here. And so beacon range basically means that when we pick this point in the track map, then we're picking a very specific point in the track that we really need. So say I'm on the left side of the track and I'm passing somebody, but then later I'm on the right side of the track and maybe I'm being passed, the software needs to be able to detect wherever the start or the finish line is, no matter which side of the track that you're on. So you have to give it a little bit of a range. So this right here by default says 15 meters. That might be a little bit too big, so let's say we can drop it down to 30 meters. So if you're within 30 meters of the center point of this data, then it will still count it as a lap. Also, this time window right here prevents the software from counting a lap incorrectly, so it only allows a lap to be counted if it exceeds this amount of time. So obviously 10,000 seconds right here is too large. Typically laps on this track would last about 2 minutes, but just for right now we'll just say 60 seconds. And then we'll click generate markers. So now it's basically created these laps, so we'll go ahead and click OK right here. Alright, now that it's set our laps here, we can go ahead and click close. And if you look over here to the left side, you can see that we have lap times for lap 1 and lap 2. So this is some pretty short data that we have here. It was just used to collect some lap data real quick. But you can see here that there were 2 laps, and it also shows the out time. So that means the amount of time that the data log has started until the start or finish line was crossed. And the in lap is basically when the start and finish line was last crossed after lap 2, until the data log was stopped. So it's 7 minutes because there was a slow cooldown lap, and it probably pulled into the pits while it sat there for a little while with the engine still running, so that's normal. You can also see here that there is a vertical red line exactly where this red arrow is, which indicates our start finish line mark that we made earlier. So again, if you watch our cursor here, as I drag it along, you can see that as soon as it crosses that one line, that's our start and finish line. Now we can zoom out, and if you want to zoom out and show everything, you can hit A. You can see that we have a few different vertical lines. And one neat thing here we can do is say if you want to just focus on lap 2, which in this case is the fastest lap out of this particular file, we can click on lap 2 and click on this little 1 icon up there, and that sets it as the main layer. So now it will zoom in to only lap 1. And if we zoom out, then we can see that it's grayed out the rest of the log because it's only showing us lap 1 here. Now that our laps are working and we're getting lap times that look reasonable, we can click on the wrench icon up here again, and we're going to go to edit. And we can see here that the source is correct, session 2, but we want to change it so instead of based on the entire log, we want to base it on the lap. So we'll click on lap, and then we'll go ahead and click up here to lap 2. So that was our fastest lap, so it's usually good to make your track map out of your fastest lap. So once we've done that, we can see that it's shown us a really nice track map here, and there's no extra stuff from the pits or the paddock or anything like that. It's just the track map. And if you want to go ahead and rotate it, you can do that. Let's just straighten it out. We'll go ahead and leave it there and then click on OK. And that's how you create a track map. If you have any other questions about AEMdata, make sure to let us know in the comments so we can help you guys out. And make sure you subscribe so you can learn more about AEMdata. Thank you for watching.